There we go. Wonderful. So thank you so much, Kathleen. I have the honor of kicking off the Women's Coaching and Consulting Council for you, with you, and it is always truly my honor. Kathleen Caldwell is the CEO of Caldwell Consulting Group, and if you haven't spent significant time with Kathleen, trust me, you are in for a treat. It is always uplifting, empowering, and exciting to be with Kathleen. And today's topic, I'm just ecstatic about. It's absolutely critical for all of us as business leaders in terms of our impact as leaders, and certainly the difference that we can make in our businesses and the communities we serve as we move forward. And that's all about the coaching strategies to combat quiet quitting and quiet firing. Now, Kathleen, there are so many amazing things that you do, including Zumba, by the way, which I, as a total neophyte, tried twice now. I am not coordinated. My goodness, do I laugh, and I'm starting to get into better condition. So anyway, I am going to hand things over to you because I know you can Zumba and you can lead this room like no one else. So Kathleen, over to you.
Trisha, thank you. Thank you. Great. You know, we all need our wing women like Trisha Ben, right? Sparkle fingers for Trisha. Thank you. Leading the C-suite network as CEO and chief community officer and everything that you do. You know, part of our council is we just love showcasing each other, lifting each other up, spotlighting our success, who we are, what we're doing. And, you know, that's really what was the guiding principle for today's topic is, number one, how can we welcome Donna, welcome Gloria, welcome Carol and Trisha. Thank you. We've got more of our colleagues joining us, but it's such a timely topic. So my promise to you today is you're going to leave with strategies that you can take immediately into the work you're doing, into your life. You know, in doing all this research, it also occurred to me that oftentimes the root of all of this is quiet quitting on relationships. Oh my goodness. Wow. So this has parallel processing for us on how we can work and make a difference with our corporate clients and clients in industry and business, but also for ourselves. What can we do to become better coaches, consultants, trusted advisors, thought leaders, and trusted partners with our clients? So, you know, we're starting off on a new year. Yesterday's program was Get Free in 23. Whoa, it was powerful. The replay is up on our YouTube channel. So let's just jump right in because we will finish our program at 57 after the hour, if not sooner, because 57, the number means new beginnings and new opportunities. So let's just jump in. Okay, we're giving you value all the way around, aren't we? All the way around. So let me just jump in and get our slides going. Very good. And so, oh my goodness. You know, I think that what happens is when you over practice, that things happen. So here we go. I've been so excited for you to jump in to our program that I just got a little over practice. Okay, here we go. So good. Okay. So quiet quitting and quiet firing. It's important. And again, thank you, Trisha, for the introduction. I'm Kathleen Caldwell, and I'm so delighted to be leading the Women's Coaching and Consulting Council C-suite networks stand for the light workers, the helpers, the trusted advisors in the world. That's who we all are. And of course, you know, we've had a lot of risk ahead, you know, even with 2020, 2021, 2022, and 23 coming up. And what I mean by that is we all know, you know, the work from home phenomenon. As coaches and consultants, that's not a new thing to us. You know, we've been working from home or from small offices for a long time, but the rest of the world didn't have a choice. So the comfort of home, sitting with our little kitties and our doggies and our family, a lot of people are longing for that. Civil unrest, COVID, all kinds of things has created the condition that Gallup is saying in so many reports that quiet quitters make up at least 50% of the workforce, probably even more. And if you look at the statistics, it's really powerful. You can see that engagement levels, according to Gallup and all of their surveys, they're saying that nearly 30% of the workforce, 32% generously, is engaged in the work they're doing. So I think that this provides an opportunity for us. And, you can't open up a newspaper, can't even get on a news feed without seeing the term quiet quitting, quiet resignation. And it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. I just did a Google search, and there were over 280 million results for the term quiet quitting. And so it is up in the world, and it's where dissatisfied workers, and we'll get into an actual definition here, is they can't speak up. They don't have a voice in the workplace. And there's also the quiet firing phenomenon too. And we're going to talk about both during our time together. But, thinking for ourselves again, parallel processing, how can we support people in business in the work they're doing, in their lives, of course, with how are they quiet quitting on things? And also, how are they firing clients, firing others, firing relationships, firing communities, board assignments? I mean, it goes through the gamut there. And of course, let's jump in, and I hope that my video will work here for us. Even The Simpsons. This is not a new topic, folks. Quiet quitting, quiet firing. In 1990, The Simpsons had a show about it. Here we go.
Lousy teachers trying to palm off our kids on us.
But Dad, by striking, they're trying to effect a change in management so that they can be happier and more productive.
Lisa, if you don't like your job, you don't strike. You just go in every day and do it really half-assed. That's the American way.
I've got some textbooks, but without state-approved syllabi and standardized testing, my education can only go so far.
Honey, maybe you should relax a little.
Relax? I can't relax. Nor can I yield, relent, or... Only two synonyms? Oh my God! I'm losing my perspicacity!
Well, it's always in the last place you look.
Okay. So Homer Simpson and The Simpsons were dealing with it as well. Lisa was concerned that her teachers were quiet quitting on her, and she was quiet quitting. And Homer says, listen, do it the American way. Only go in and just do half of what you really need to do. So how many of you, I'm curious, are seeing this with your clients? As a coach, consultant, trusted advisor, thought leader, are you seeing this phenomenon happening, with your clients? Or maybe, maybe we'll stop the recording, but, with yourself. And we'll talk about specifically the syndromes and the symptoms and how to deal with it. But what are you all seeing out there in the world?
I mean, I'll just jump in. I think
Please,
that
Gloria,
quiet quitting isn't anything new. We just have a name for it. It used to be, we called it, you retired in the job, right? So people checked out while they were still employed, and it's getting attention now because we've got a fancy name to it, and somebody on TikTok,
right,
made it go viral. And if that's what it takes for, leaders to begin to address the issue, then, great, let's tackle it. We got to start being more engaged with folks.
No more sage words than from Gloria St. Martin Lowry, esteemed faculty for the Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. Yes, exactly. And haven't we really talked about it as like burnout and tired, and, what's the next RIF, reduction in force. And I mean, there have been so many names, but I'll show you in the next slide that, there was a viral TikTok video. A lot of people are claiming ownership for it, but big deal, for the term. Yeah. How about each of you? What are you seeing in addition, Gloria? Tricia, please.
Actually, Gloria made me think there is something different here. So there has always been that. So your point is 1000% valid, but we have a younger generation who's wanting to retire as well. So I think that's the newer dynamic of it. I hadn't clued in, Gloria, that's actually two different things. There's a younger generation now that wants to have a side hustle, or get rich quick, the entrepreneurial lifestyle, or maybe with the entrepreneurial lifestyle is live the way I want to and just make enough to make ends meet for being able to live the way I want to. But there are definitely two different dynamics, I think, being captured in that term now, of that younger generation that wants the side hustle or is needing the side hustle, depending on what it is they want to be able to purchase. I mean, so many cities are out of anything reasonable for buying a house or doing the kinds of things that we did. So anyway, it's interesting.
And those young people, Trisha, they want flexibility, right? They don't necessarily want the same things other generations have wanted,
Right.
Gold watch and that kind of thing. It's I love it when people say, what's wrong with the kids today? I'm like, well, those are the kids we raised. So, we raised them with the best of intentions to feel valued and respected. And now they're really taking us up on that and doing the things that they want to do. So
I think the Gen Xers started that. Yeah.
Thank you. Donna, jump in.
From my perspective, I believe the pandemic brought this like cream to the top of the milk, where I see in my clients, they want to do something they're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more meaningful work, more purposeful work. And they're high performing and they're so frustrated if they can't have that. They've done whatever they were supposed to do to get to where they are now, but then they're finding this isn't enough. So I agree with you, Trisha. Some of them come to me because they want to start that side hustle, and hopefully it can eventually replace step out of what they're doing into that, or it's an outlet for them to stay where they are because it's hard to there's other parameters that are going on. But I really do think because of the pandemic and the fact that we all realize that life could be cut short outside of our control inexplicably in a moment's notice, that what the heck are we doing?
Yeah.
I hate this job, or I don't like my boss, or I don't appreciate being around my coworkers, but I'm staying. I need to get out of my own way and do something else that I really love. That's where I see it. But you're right about the younger generation, Trisha. They want what they want faster.
Right.
And then there's that disconnect between the younger generation, the older generation. Boy, it is a complicated place these days. Very complicated in the workplace. So great topic.
Thank you, Donna. Yeah, we're going to get in. We're going to talk about kind of some things to look about symptoms as well that may be underneath the surface. Carol, did you have something you were going to jump in as well?
Other than the fact that for 30 years I've been doing what I've been doing, and none of this is an epiphany to me. Okay.
Right.
I started in search over 30 years ago, started my coaching training 25 years ago, and moved into consulting a number of years after that. And, I just had an interview go live in Forbes yesterday, and this is exactly what we talked about. If you're going to build a talent-centric organization, the terms quiet quitting, quiet firing, whatever, the new gray is, which is what these words are. It's the new gray, right? Or the new black. None of those things are all moot.
Right.
None of those things in a talent-centric organization, none of those things exist, because what's missing is, and I just was on an interview that he asked me a lot of these questions, that if you are asking your people what they need, somebody 50 is going to need something different than somebody 25.
Right.
Okay. And there is, my feeling about Gen Z, and I don't have children, so I'm just, pulling it out of my ass here, is that they're very entitled and they expect things. There's good news and bad news there, right? One is you don't give a trophy to every kid because that doesn't teach them how to learn hard life lessons. Yeah, I just think that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. That's just my opinion. You don't win, you don't deserve a trophy. I mean, what are you preparing children for? So I think some of them have just grown up and they think they deserve everything, and they're not willing to work for it. And that's a problem.
Yeah. And treating everyone, and we'll get into some more details of this, of what a great point too. Everyone, as we'll talk about, has unmet needs and they bring them to the workplace. And so how does a capable contemporary workplace, and how do coaches, how do we work with that? So thank you. Great points. Let's move forward and kind of talk a little bit more about this. Someone mentioned as well the TikTok video, and this TikTok video, A Life After Layoff, really good. I don't want to get into playing it because it goes on about 6 minutes, but it's really very interesting, the perspective of a recruiter who deals with a lot of folks. He essentially says, listen, just do enough to get along, just do enough to do your job. And, he also says that you can't put your head in the sand. And we as coaches and consultants, we can't put our head in the sand. And our clients need for us to be the lighthouse among the storm. And so, I don't mean to over dramatize this, to make it more dramatic than it is, but at the same time, there's opportunity here for us. I mean, what were we built for, coaches, if not for this? And so, the definition that there's so many definitions, but the bottom line is doing the minimum requirements of one's job, or maybe in a relationship, doing the minimum and putting in no more time, effort, or enthusiasm than is absolutely necessary. And, the sister situation, which is the quiet firing, it's the other flip of the coin, friends, because it's where management makes a workplace kind of unappealing for people and certain people in the hopes that they will just eventually quit. And so, it means like a stalled promotion, stalled advancements, denying raises, really giving employees that are really kind of not, they're just there. We know they're quiet quitting. And so we reciprocate in kind, with giving them mundane work or more bureaucracy, which we know everybody hates, no support, overwork or underwork. And so check out Forbes and, check out Investopedia, because, the symptoms are really clear, that really people are not communicating. There's a lack of compassion, there's no clarity of expectations. What am I supposed to do? I also believe that there's fear in the workplace, disillusionment and burnout. Now, this is with everybody, but when Gallup says that 32% of the workforce is engaged, there's a lot of this happening. And I think also the fundamentals of absence of trust and commitment, lack of purpose, as we talked about, passion, energy, also a passive aggressive kind of thing happening here, and a personal need for control. I think that this is the key thing, is control of outcomes, control of the future. And so, I'm going to pause after this and get the conversation going is, I think what I believe is true is that deep connection to work and to coworkers and to community, there's something missing there. And every person on the planet has unmet needs. And I think that also, from my perspective, is a lack of a future focus for many folks, meaning a future focus with the job they have, with the company they have, with the colleagues. Remember that it used to be very common that we would think about, hey, I'm going to spend 5-10 years with this company. Maybe minimum, I'll give this company and I'll give this opportunity, this job, maybe 2 to 3 years. And here's my promotional path. Well, bless HR, but they can't help people with all of these things. They're not equipped. They're so busy. So, what's missing is unmet needs of people, loss of opportunities to learn and grow and do that as a community, especially from work from home. And I also think we are trusted advisors. We're thinking partners. That's who we can help. We can help. So your thoughts about this? I'm going to take a deep breath here. And
I agree with you about the human resource professionals. I have a few as clients, and they're overwhelmed with the DEI aspect that they have to endure. And they're overwhelmed with the hybrid work environment that they have to endure. They just can't be all things to all people. They're just so stressed out.
Right.
But the other thing is, as we all know, this has to come from the top down, right? It can't just come from the sides out, or from the middle down. It has to come from the top down, which means leadership needs a major remodel at the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do we start with that? That's the big question, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think I agree with you. And I love, a top down, bottom up kind of sandwich, approach. I mean, I think by any means necessary as coaches and consultants, by any means necessary. And of course, agree with you, Donna, that, if the top leadership, the board isn't really involved in advocating this, it's going to be a tough initiative. But I'm also curious how we can work like as coaches and consultants, one to one, but also one to many with teams and with individuals. And, I think, Carol, I'd love to get your voice in here, Carol Kamimer, as a LinkedIn specialist, as a specialist, the workforce like no one I know, what you do, and you've written the book on LinkedIn for the Savvy Executive. What are you seeing about when people are like creating their LinkedIn profiles and they're, are they putting in there the side door as well? The option to like, I want to get out, as quickly as I get in kind of thing, or what are you seeing? Yeah.
So the people who contact me are in some kind of trouble, or they wouldn't be contacting me. So either they realize that their business is not getting the traction that it needs, and they can control that because they're, in charge of the business, and they want to have their profile updated so that it's more effective. Or there are people who are scared about the future in their current company, or concerned. Yeah. And they want to make sure that they are absolutely prepared for whatever comes next. When I work with somebody who is working and who is concerned, what I do is I say to them, right now, your primary responsibility is to give your 110% to your company. We don't want to make anything look like you're looking for a job, because that's the clue that HR needs to fire you. So, so we do things like even putting the logo of the company in their headline, in their banner image. But the concept of making sure that you're always ready for whatever happens is a good one. Making sure that your profile, because it's accessible 24/7 to people all over the world, that is always ready, not ready when you're ready for it to be ready, right? Because people are making first impressions right now.
So true. And I believe in the concept that energy follows intention. So having the intention, to say in this moment, I'm like all in on this job, and we as coaches, I want to talk next about some strategies that we can use, some advanced strategies to really have, we either, coach the client, whether the client is the individual executive or team member, or of course, coaching HR, coaching the leadership in the company, coaching the board, trusted partners. And there's so many people that could use this kind of general advice, and actually some advanced strategies too, on how to be all in wherever they are. And of course, I think this relates to relationships, love the one you're with. I wrote a column about this a couple of years ago, is if you've lost that love and feeling. Remember the Everly Brothers? I won't play the song. You remember it.
We do. We're playing it in our heads.
That's it. You lost that love and feeling, get back in the game, people, Yeah. So thoughts before we jump into, we know the symptoms, and then we're going to talk about strategies. Yeah.
Well, the strategy part's going to be really wonderful to talk about, because with quiet quitting being on everybody's minds, with the younger generation really rethinking what they want to do, the environment is just really perfect for people in the coaching space, right? Because if you're a leader, you're impacted by quiet quitting. Yeah. So being able to provide support to those leaders on building relationships with people, connecting what people do to outcomes and purpose and all of that is, I mean, there's a ton of opportunity for us in this Zoom session to really provide support to organizations because people are talking about it, they're ready for some help.
Right. Beautiful. And coming over to you, Tricia, in a second. Gloria, you're so right. And the flip coin of it is the quiet firing. It works both ways. Isn't a self-fulfilling prophecy? I'm just wondering if for all of us, if in your long and illustrious careers, if you ever felt like someone was quitting on you or firing you, how did you respond? Our higher self, of course, would say, oh, I'm going to double down and I'm going to get recommitted. But then like, hey, maybe there was a little bit like, I'm going to bail, so it's kind of human nature, Yes.
It is.
Tricia, jump.
It doesn't make sense, though, to keep beating your head against a wall.
Right.
And going for the next level and next level if it's not appreciated. So your mind just sort of says, I can still be a really good worker and I don't have to kill myself for this individual or kill myself for this company. I'll do what I need to do and then look to move on.
Yeah. Very nice. Tricia, jump in, please.
I was just going to say, I think there's something really important about difficult conversations and getting to that next level in a relationship. So when you say about quiet quitting relationships, Kathleen, I immediately went to, I think probably anybody that I've worked with, anyone that I've worked with in love, I've had a difficult conversation with at some point. You can't form a relationship without a difficult piece in it. It's just not possible, and so I think there's something really there where, again, the younger generation is saying that they're struggling with that sense of connection, of that sense of belonging. And I think, Carol Schultz, you mentioned about giving everybody a trophy. Well, life isn't sunshine and roses, and frequently when you go through the challenges together, it's when you bond the greatest, when you bond the tightest. And I think there's something missing in all of that when people can just throw bombs and grenades and hurt, really truly hurt, with the intention to hurt, especially when you look at social media, but media in general, public discourse, and that's somehow okay as an ongoing scenario. And so I think there's something there that's really created a loneliness and a disconnect, and one where quiet quitting becomes quite natural because they're in the quiet.
Yeah.
So profound. And aren't workplaces, aren't homes oftentimes tries we might like not have to have it this way, but they're a microcosm of what's happening in the world. And so that's where I believe powerful coaching. We as coaches, we're all coaches in our own way, whether we have the title or not, but I think we all do. We've got some solutions. So let's jump into those into our remaining time. Good. And just want to check in. Are you getting value from today's masterclass? Getting value. Yeah, good. Thank you very much. That's what we love. Yeah, that's what our council is all about. And of course, what C-Suite Network is all about as well. So let me jump in and continue on here. Is that, here we go. Yeah. Okay, good. So I think also this is about unmet needs, as we've talked about. Tricia, you talked about it's quiet. It's quiet. And so, coaching, I believe, I'm just taking a firm stand. It's a cure. It's not the only cure, but it is definitely a cure for these phenomenons. And of course, big disclaimer here, because we can't help everyone, and, I have a philosophy where I work with the willing. Now, in corporate environments, sometimes everybody, I've had experiences like you where everyone is sent to the coaching program and everybody's sent to the leadership program and all of that. And some may not want to be there. Okay. And so, there's the art and science to that, and we'll save that for another time. But, this to me is we're as C-Suite Network so much talks about all the time, is we're business first responders. We're throwing the life raft to people who say, hey, I think I'd like some support. Okay. We're not trying to strangle people with the life raft here. We're just trying to provide safety, open communication, understanding, of course, as professional coaches, we know the difference between coaching and therapy. And as coaches, we have a future focus orientation. We're not going to get into childhood restorative issues. We know the line. We're not going to go back in time and do any healing work for children unless that's your licensed training. Of course, go for it. But really keeping it to a coach approach. And of course, always creating the coaching agreement with our clients. I mean, this is like the basic foundational things that you all know, but I thought I'd reiterate it. And of course, knowing who really is the client. Is the person hiring you to work with them? Are they paying you? Are they hiring you? Is your agreement with the individual person, or is it with the organization that's then hiring you to coach their employees? And again, we're going to have another masterclass on the details of that, how to set up those agreements, because there's a difference, as you know, there's a real difference. And then, of course, how do you report? How do you maintain confidentiality? How do you set up agreements? How do you set up accountability? It's different in both situations. And we'll talk about that in a future session. But I think what I know for sure, and I know you know this too, is that coaching is really about being a listening partner, a confidant, an advocate, a cheerleader often, but also we're committed to the person. We're committed, yes, to their goals, but I believe we're also most importantly committed to them as a person. We're an accountability partner for them. We're a straight talker to them. This is not just a session, I also believe that the client directs the coaching call. We're there to support the client with our training and development, and we're teaching, we're providing skills, we're developing them, support, sharing, mentoring, guidance, and listening, all of these things, the basic tenets of being a professional coach. But I think the specific strategies for quiet quitting, quiet firing are, I believe, just a couple things. Getting in touch with the client, the person, the human being's big why. Why is it that they're doing the work that they're doing? Why are they there at the company? What's their why? What do they enjoy, appreciate, love? Maybe even bringing love into the conversation. Oh my, yes, we went there, into their big why. Why do they want to be there? And maybe the big why is, hey, I'm going to be earning enough money until I can do X, Y, and Z. That's great. That's their big why. And, communicating that in a confidential way, understanding what's the motive, what are the motivating factors. And also, I think what's also missing is people don't have a way to vent or express their feelings and their emotions. What are people feeling? The pandemic had many of us kind of check out on our feelings, numb our feelings. And so the coach, the professional coach that's helping to provide, the counsel and the advisory and the support, what are those feelings and emotions that the client is feeling? We can help them vent it, okay? Speak it out into the world in a confidential, safe way. We also then, as a coach, can help them clarify, this is so important, what are their concerns, and provide objective feedback. Okay. And then, of course, always providing an action plan, and what I like to do is just start coaching calls with just something so simple as you can do all the prep forms in the world if you want to, but I think coaching happens oftentimes, the most powerful happens in the moment. And so often I start a coaching call with what's on your mind? What's top of mind to you? What's important? One of those kinds of questions. And, because literally before a coaching call or a coaching meeting, that literally they could have had a conversation with their manager, their boss, their colleague that could have short-circuited everything. And if we're talking about what they wrote on their coaching prep form 24, 48 hours ago, a week ago, it's not really relevant. So being just in time and being topical, really important. Okay. So what's their big why? What's important to them? What are the feelings, the emotions that they're feeling? Where is it in their body? If you're, if you feel comfortable going there, I say go there. We as coaches can help them with a somatic experience. What are their real concerns? Having them use their words to express what are their concerns, what's happening, what's real for them, and giving them feedback and creating an action plan. And of course, we'll jump back and get your sharing here too, is I think we provide as coaches a success roadmap. People are looking for a lift, literally, remember back in the day, people would hitchhike. Well, we don't do that now, hitchhike, and they're looking for a lift. They're looking for a lift somewhere. They're looking for a ride. They're looking for us as a driver to help them get where they want to get. So you provide a roadmap and the lift. And ultimately, we want to help people get back in the game. Okay, the game of whatever the game is for them is they define the game, but let's help them get back into the game. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and just really curious what's emerging for you, what's important to you about what we've discussed, our topics, what's top of mind for you. And in the coaching world, I just stacked questions. I shouldn't have done that, but I did. I just stacked up all those questions. Yeah.
Kathleen, I think one of the more important things about what you just said, asking them what's top of mind. I think what's more important than that is asking them what needs to happen for them to be present in the conversation. Because if they can't be present in the conversation, and that's gonna answer your question as well. So you're muted. I just see your mouth moving, but
yeah, thank you. Yeah. Carol, perfect. And, what are they also committed to? What are they committed to?
Yeah.
If they're committed to making it work, like any relationship, if they're committed to making it work, then that's a conversation. But if then they're saying they're committed to leaving the situation, the relationship, the workplace, whatever, then that's a different conversation. What are they committed to? I don't even think that many times they know. So we as coaches can help them get clarity on that. And your point is perfect, Carol. Thank you.
You got to get them you got to get into their blind spots to find those things out.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Great. Such wisdom on this call, right, ladies? Sparkle fingers for everybody. So much wisdom. Yeah. Woo.
I think
the
relation.
Yeah.
Oh.
Come on. Bring it, sister.
Oh, I was just going to say, in terms of coaching, even just what you said, just that last statement you said, Kathleen, even if their goal is to go somewhere else, as the CEO of the organization, there are people where I do hope they go somewhere else. I need them to go somewhere else, because if they're not scaling fast enough, and it motivates me to scale fast enough as well. I mean, that's a relationship where I want them to understand their value and be driving forward. So that coaching piece and understanding their why is so important. And I guess the other thing that I see all the time, and I don't coach the way that you all coach. I'm in kind of a different role, but coaching.
And you're coaching leader, Trisha, executive leader, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. And I say that just to pay respect to what you all do, because that it's an incredible gift, and it's an incredible talent and expertise. So I aspire every day to be as good. And but I will say that it's incredible to see the same caring supporting everyone in our communities. Like Carol Schultz is a brand new C-suite network leader, and I got to spend time with her this week. And as soon as I learned a little bit about some of her why, oh my goodness, we were in tears. It's that is what truly connects us. And I'm so grateful for that, in terms of C-suite, but also just the example that you live and lead for others to have the courage to be able to share their whys and provide that kind of leadership in their communities, because it's in everything and everyone we touch.
Thank you. Thank you. So great. Very nice. And, Tricia, you're bringing up as well as we are the coach catalysts for this type of transformation in the world. I mean, that is my stand, is that every person on the planet, 8 billion of us, we've got a coach. We've got a trusted advisor. We have someone that we can talk to that's going to help us move forward. We have a committed partner in our lives. And, the thing that also inspires us, and we talk about this a lot in our council, is how can we as coaches elevate that conversation, move up the conversation of who we are in the world. No, we're not, we're not someone that hangs out a shingle and just says, oh, well, I'm a coach. No, we are trained, developed. We are a special breed. And so that's what this council is all about, is elevating us to a higher level. And, the curious question always is, for me every day, is how can I be better? How can I be more effective? How can I be more professional, surrounded by a community of like-minded people, and specifically women? We love the men, but our council is for women coaches and consultants. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So let's complete our time today. And also just kind of curious, as we complete, thinking about for each of us, like, what's our one big takeaway? And, I'm also very fond of getting to the essence of things. I love bottom lining it. That's, oh my gosh, it's one of my glorious things in life, is helping people to just bottom line it, to say what's the essence of the thing they want to say in a word or phrase. Ladies, it's an art and science to it, and I also believe, I'm not demonstrating it right now, but I think often less is more. So let me just jump right in, finish up our program today. And so grateful that you're here. And let me stop sharing here. I got so excited that I went to the wrong screen. Okay, there we go. So thinking about what's really important to you, and now is your time. Now's your time. The time is over us to be overthinking who we are, what we can do, the value we can provide to people. Now is our time. Everybody needs a lift up, and that's who we are as coaches and consultants, thought leaders, trusted advisors. And so getting into a community, that's what our council is all about, is supporting each other. And we're growing. Our council we're just in the baby stages right now. We're so excited to be growing. We're going to start a membership initiative in January. We have a retreat planned in Orlando at the end of January. We have a book project. We've got accredited designated coach certification coming. We've got all kinds of beautiful things. We want you, we invite you, and what we know for sure, and what I know for sure, is the world needs you now more than ever to shine your powerful light. You're a light worker. If you're a coach, you are a light worker. Remembering the fun, the excitement, the energy you used to have as a kid, now's the opportunity to shine that light brightly. So with that, I would love to have a conversation with each of you. Even as a current esteemed faculty member, let's have a conversation and talk about what's new for you in 23, how you can get free in 23, how the council can support you in what's important to you. So it's very simple, calendly.com, Kathleen Caldwell, just type it in and jump on my calendar. I've opened up a lot of space in the next couple of weeks because I'm committed to you. I'm committed to everyone having a great 23 and beyond. So with that, thank you. What a joy to be with you today. And I'm just turning it back over to you. What's the essence of your biggest takeaway from our time together? Give you some showcase time. Yeah.
I think the urgency is people just need to get more truthful with each other in a safe, non-judgmental way. And at the end of the day, what a different world it would be if we could just tell each other in our own perspective what we believe the truth is, and just calmly hear it and reflect it back and talk through it. I say this often to my clients: we all speak English, but we don't all speak it well.
Donna, thank you. Sparkle fingers for you. Beautiful. Big kisses. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Glad you were here. Thank you.
Mhm.
Good. Who's next?
I think we can conclude that we all speak it poorly.
Right.
I love that quote.
Yeah.
Right? We do, because emotion gets into it, or some perceived slight, or a real slight, or, like there's just so many things that impact, or just completely different understandings of a definition. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good. Thank you. Who's next? Your biggest takeaway, the essence of what you got from being here today.
I'll go next, Kathleen. Yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
my
thank you.
camera is off. It's midnight here. I'm from India. Yeah. So I had attended earlier one of your session, and I really love being in the community. So basically, when you listen to the experiences everybody is facing, and when you face similar challenges later on, so you can correlate. And if you would have been naive, then your response would have been different. But as you learn from others, right, so you're kind of prepared to handle the situations better. So for me, the biggest takeaway to be in a great community like this and learn from each other. Thanks.
Depti, thank you. Dipti, yes, thank you. Big sparkle fingers for you. Lots of
Thanks
love.
a lot. Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone. Thanks
You're a
lot.
thought leader, and everyone, blessings to you. That's really good. Thank you for the commitment. You're a force in the world. Getting up in the middle of the night to watch this live, ladies, sisters, that's a commitment right there. For super good. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad you were here. Thank you. Good. Okay, we know it's hard to follow up that, but jump in. Yeah, your biggest takeaway, and we'll complete our time. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and jump in. For me,
Yeah,
I think
thank you.
it's just the reinforcement and reminder that this is real, and it's something that we focus on in our organization. And it just makes me excited that we're launching our council in February of next year. This puts us in a perfect position in those small group discussions like these to have those kinds of conversations and better prepare leaders and individuals for, focusing on building relationships and stepping up and having the tough conversations, because the more we can do that, the better off we'll all be.
Bravo, Gloria. Wonderful. And to you and to Sue, congratulations on your new council, and we will support you in our Women's Coaching and Consulting Council 110%. So thank you. Really excited. Good. Thank you. Good. Yeah. Anyone else before we complete? Thank you. Biggest takeaway.
I think
Thanks, Carol.
continuing to commit to relationships is
Mm.
important throughout, whether you're coming or going, but the relationships are so important.
Yeah.
And talking it's important, making sure that the relationship is solid and that you are nurturing it. I think that really makes a difference.
Beautiful. And clearly that's the work that you do, Carol. Clearly, that's it. Thank you. Aloha. Yeah, good. Carol, final words? Carol Schultz, anything taken? Great.
No,
Great.
I really got nothing. I have more than we have time for. So, but it's not really from this. It's basically just being willing to walk away from the things that don't suit you.
Right on. Yeah.
You choose the relationships that you're in for who the person is and who the person isn't. And if you, I think maybe that's sort of the bottom line here for me, is that, you mentioned earlier about, some people not being on the coaching page. Well, I've walked away from clients because of members on the executive team, including a CEO. Somebody in HR tried to bring me in, and HR has influence and no power. Right. So, that's the problem with HR. I talk a lot about that in my writing and my interviews and so on. And, and that you just have to really be willing to walk away from the things that don't suit you. And don't, it's the word I'm looking for. Anybody,
Unapologetically.
well, yeah, but yeah, I mean, that's it. That's not what I'm thinking of, but that's absolutely completely accurate. that don't support you.
Yeah, great, great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And, you know, in our council, we support everyone's point of view, and I'm a huge advocate on the record for HR. So I think that, you know, as coaches and consultants, we're the light. So let's bring the light. We either bring the light when we come into a room, or the light lights up when we leave the room, and we are light workers. So with that, bring the light, ladies. Let's combat quiet quitting, quiet firing, and let's go get them. Thanks very much. Bye for now. Lots of love.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you. Bye-bye.